It is First and Now, the official BC Lions podcast and radio show. We're on 730 CKNW, and it's presented by World Vision Canada. Join the BC Lions at the Walk for Water event on October 5th, McLeod Stadium in Langley. Find out how you could win a 2026 road trip for two with the team by participating. Visit bclions.com/6K for details. You want to see the Moj doing his little flip chart, how he prepares on the plane. You want to help Nick Kowalski edit film. Hey, you could be on a 2026 road trip. Fellas, how we doing? Back after a bye week.
Doing well. Looking forward to getting back at it and hopefully having a good game in Ottawa, but enjoyed the bye week. Took a little time off, recharged the batteries. I imagine everyone else did. So looking forward to getting back on track.
Looked like you were out on Lake Okanagan.
Yeah.
That looked fun. Yeah.
I went up to Kelowna for a couple of days and hooked up with some friends out on the boat, which was really nice, and cruised the lake and had a good time. Like I said, recharged the batteries.
Nikki, what'd you get up to?
We were out in Squamish, not together.
Well, so yeah, we
but
were both
separately.
Separately, yeah.
I hiked up a mountain. That's what people do for fun, apparently, and it was fun.
for you.
The Sea to Sky is the latest hike I did in British Columbia, and it was a rewarding hike because it was a challenging one uphill. You're pretty much going uphill the whole way. You got chains and everything. You're watching people going up on the gondola, thinking, "Why didn't I do that?"
Yeah.
But then at the top, there's alcohol, beer, and all that, whatever you want, right? So that was my prize for doing a 900-meter hike.
Hopefully there's railings too.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. We also went to Squamish, won tickets for the gondola back at our holiday party in December. Our producer, Jordan Dowler Coltman, was dying to win that prize. I could have brought Jordan, I suppose, but yeah, a beautiful little ride up, some meal and a beverage at the top, and just kind of enjoy the scenery. That
Goop Dolls
yeah, Goo Goo Dolls Sunday night.
by week, I should say.
That, wife and I got out for a night, overnight, just outside Seattle at a cool little winery there. Place was packed. It was a good night. Yeah.
So everybody recharged their batteries.
Yeah. And,
Watch them bang your Labor Day Classic games too. in the
Yes.
same time. So
well, yeah, I was streaming trying to stream the Riders and Bombers on my phone, but being in the US, it was restricted. Darn broadcast laws. But it was an eventful week in the Canadian Football League. BC Lions, of course, coming off the bye like we're talking about. And I know it's been about 10, 11 days now, but have to at least address it. Been some time to reflect on it. Not a pretty result in Toronto, and you can tell this Lions team is stewing about it and ready to right the ship. Your overall thoughts, Moj, from Toronto and some what's happened since?
Well, I mean, offensively, I don't think you can have too much that you can argue with what they're doing in terms of their production. Obviously, defense is the concern and what they're doing there. And I think what Mike Benavides, the defensive coordinator, and the rest of the staff are going to do here is just get back to the basics. If you have to dumb things down a little bit, you probably do that, but focus on the basics, get the basics down pat, and then start expanding. And if you do that, you basically allow the players to play with a lot of confidence, a lot of aggressiveness. Now, granted, as Mike told us after practice, this is a Canadian Football League. It is pro football. So he has to find that real delicate balance where you have enough installed on your defensive scheme that you're playing with aggression and you're playing with confidence. And yet at the same time, you're not overloading guys and causing paralysis by analysis. Like I said in the huddle today, it's that old Pete Mitchell line from Top Gun Maverick. Don't think, just do.
Yep.
Right. And that's what you need to do on defense. You need to do it on offense as well. As an athlete, you don't think, you just do. So I think that's what they're trying to get back to on the defensive side of the ball.
yeah, and there were some plays in that game where the defender was right there, right? Like there were some busts, and that's gonna happen with Ryan Dinwiddie, Nick Arbuckle, the way they're rolling right now. Like they're putting up points and yards on any team right now. But there were plays where the Lions defender was right there. And when you even talk about more self-inflicted mistakes, there was that no end penalty in the second quarter, which is a complete self-inflicted penalty that takes away a big Nathan Rourke run. And then the very next play is that pick six. And in a game where the Lions they started out well, 14-3 lead. It seemed like it was a touchdown for touchdown kind of game. But if you spot Toronto 7 points with a defensive touchdown, that's kind of, in my opinion, where the game and the momentum of the game really shifted in the Argos direction. And
Broke serve.
Yeah, the team couldn't respond on that.
Yeah, that there was that one really deep one to, was it Herslow, where he was in between two defenders? Was it Kent that was there? I thought that was going to be an interception,
Yeah, you got to make
right?
the play, right? That's what
Like,
Benavides was saying today.
yeah. So, yeah, and I'm with you guys. I mean, offensively, more often than not, this is going to be a team that's going to outscore a lot of these problems. But yeah, unfortunately, you look at the pick six, maybe was a turning point in the first half. If the Lions don't give that one away and they maybe score on that drive, maybe go to halftime tied or with a lead, maybe it's a different ball game. Couple of long drives in the second half they couldn't finish. You kick in an 11-yard field goal to start the third quarter. Never ideal, but you want to take the points.
That's the other
So
thing Buck talked about too, is too many short field goals. Like you can't settle for these 14, 21, 22, 19-yard field goals. When you're that close, you got to punch it in. And, conversely on defense, it's about making plays. I mean, 5 touchdown drives of over 70 yards. So, you make a stop here or there on second down, you're off the field, and they just got to find a way to do that.
Well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers too. You think they're not kicking themselves for in the second quarter, literally kicking a 9-yard field goal, and then
yeah,
they end up losing the game by 4 points, right? Those 4 points are right there if you get that extra yard and a half. And I guess no end is the theme of my intro here, but Winnipeg took a crucial no end penalty too, and that's not something you see a Mike O'Shea team do. And it just proves little mistakes can prove so pivotal in games, right? And I guess we're talking about this a bit off air too, but for no end, you need 7 players on the line of scrimmage. So
yep.
that is on the offense to simply have 7 players on the line of scrimmage, right? It's not the defense forcing you into that kind of penalty. So those are those self-inflicted things that, hopefully over a bye week and more practice, you clean up.
Little things add up to big things.
Yeah, and they could be maybe tinkering with a bit of this personnel. I should say, Gary Peters has been limited. I've been dealing with a bit of a knee issue. But you've seen Jalen Edwards-Cooper back getting reps in the secondary. You've seen Cameron Stone, who's been on the PR most of the year. He's gotten some work in with Gary on the shelf. We expect Gary to be fine. He's the ultimate Iron Man. But again, we talked to Benny today. Moj, what's one thing you're looking to change here if you got your coach's hat on?
Well, if I got my coach's hat, again, it's what I talked about, and that's just simplifying things to the point where you're allowing guys to play with confidence and aggressiveness. They're not thinking out there; they're just reacting, and I think that's what they've got to do. And like I said, Ben, it's a fine line for Benny because at the same time, you still have to, put enough schematically in to make it challenging for the offense. However, I'll say this. A lot of times you have to make it look like it's complex, yet at the same time, simple enough for the defense to go out there, execute, and play hard.
During the bye week, the Lions did make an addition to the defensive line. Edge rusher Levi Bell previously had camp and preseason with the Seahawks in Indianapolis Colts, some time in the UFL, and would expect him to be on the roster. Whether or not he's starting over a Kamoko Toure, we shall see. But Sione Tuhema is headed to the 6-game injured list with a bit of an arm issue. But so that's a possible something to look out for. Number 98 coming off the edge, Nikki.
Yeah, and on the flip side of the ball, when you speak about 6-game injured list, Michael Couture's stint with his hand injury is up. And he's been practicing with the ones all week. So that's a big addition to get Michael Couture back, your veteran presence at center. Another maybe under the radar addition that could make his return to the lineup this week, Adam Auclair. Yeah. We talked in the offseason a lot about how Auclair had a, career best year in Saskatchewan last year, getting, starting defensive reps at linebacker. That's someone he's not only a Canadian, but he's someone who has starting experience and, just could provide a boost, right? It's the team has tried with Josh Woods, Ben Haladic, Micah always obviously been his presence up the middle, Deontay Williams, Patrice Rene, obviously at the Sam position. So, or the nickel position. Sorry, I got to get that ingrained in my head here.
Benny will remind you.
The nickel spot, the third linebacker. But Auclair could be one of those additions, right? Because we even saw over the past couple of weeks, guys like Anthony Bennett, signed off the street, and 1 week later they're in the lineup, right? Because you need a certain amount of Canadians, and they obviously play a factor on teams too as well. So that could be an under the radar addition if Auclair is able to, make his way back to the lineup.
Yeah, even seen Anu Una getting reps there at right guard where Il Manning has been. So yeah, a lot of moving parts. As of Tuesday night, there's another full practice and a travel day to Ottawa. We'll preview the Friday night battle against the Red Blacks. Able Auctions pregame show 3:30 Pacific.
Correct.
There you go. Yourself, Julio Caravetta, Neil McAvoy will be on at halftime.
Yes, will.
Yep. Vice President of Football Operations, among other titles. So interesting to get Neil's thoughts kind of at the turn, as you say. We've passed the halfway point of this season, 7 games to go for the Lions, and this is huge. Home and home with the Red Blacks will continue to tee up Ottawa and what to look for a bit later on this hour. But get a couple of wins here, and all of a sudden you're creating more and more distance when talking about the race for a crossover or third, second, wherever this Lions team may finish. Still a couple of meetings with the hot Calgary Stampeders, so still plenty to be determined, but the Lions have to take care of business on their own. First and Now is presented in part by Hullo Ferries, proud island transportation partner of the BC Lions. Go easy, go Hullo. We're excited to talk to Lucky Whitehead, two-time West All-Star with the BC Lions, enjoying retirement, coaching football, raising chickens. We'll have to get into that. Get into it. Of course, he's got all the dogs too. Blitz, Bellatrix, just 2 of his American bullies. Love Lucky Whitehead. Maybe go down memory lane talking about some of his famous entrances that Nick Kowalski was behind the camera for. That's coming up first and now on 730 CKNW. Lucky Whitehead coming up. First and Now, back on 730 CKNW, wherever you get your podcasts. The podcast is brought to you by Main Road Group, your roads, your team, connecting communities and driving our legacy. Matt Baker, the Moj, Nick Kowalski, and speaking of driving, used to see the purple pickup truck in the parking lot here for a couple of years there, and we head to his hometown, Manassas, Virginia. Is that right? Lucky Whitehead joining us here on the program, back on the program. How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm doing fantastic. Nice to see you, good man.
Yeah, great to see you. Of course, we saw you a couple times last season rolling in here with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and we're catching you out on the practice field. So update some of our fans and listeners. You've made the transition into coaching. Where are you coaching, and how much are you enjoying it?
Yes, I'm down here in Fredericksburg, Virginia, coaching at a private school called St. Michael's, the Archangel. It's been pretty fun. We just started the season. We had our first game last week. Didn't turn out the way we wanted, but we should hopefully we get it turned around this weekend coming up, and get back on the right side of things.
Was that always kind of the plan once you settled down and retired, to stay in the game involved somehow?
Yeah, just trying to find a way to obviously still stay around it and fix that itch, right, to want to be out there myself, just to be around, obviously, the game, and whether I'm training a kid or now coaching a kid, that kind of fills that itch, and just trying to help the next generation learn the game of football.
Look, how much do you miss that? And you kind of touched on it there. We've talked to Travis Lule, Brian Burnham. The fact that when you get into the real world, you don't get judged every weekend by win or a loss, right? I mean, you miss that direct feedback and that competition, I guess.
Absolutely. But now, now I'm kind of doing it. I was just watching film over the weekend of our high school football game, and I'm sitting here taking notes, and I'm writing down cuss words that I seen my coaches do when they break down film, and why'd you block this like this, and why'd you loaf here, and right. So now I'm just kind of sitting back, and I get to do that now, and it's kind of enjoyable. Like, kind of, right? I don't got somebody critiquing me all day. I'm doing the critiquing.
Do you see any of yourself in any of the kids that you coach? Like, say an 18-year-old Lucky Whitehead?
No, yeah. I got one now. I got a kid here, super fast, very athletic, tons of potential. He's a slot receiver, also does kick return, punt return. And I'm also the special teams coordinator here. So I have him back deep. I have him doing punt returns. I have him doing kick returns. For those who don't know, we had a return at BC called White Lion. That's in here. I was the lion. And I think I went 4 for 6 on that in 2022, I believe, at punt return. 2 of them was like called back with flags, but White Line was one of my very successful punt return plays, and all the boys was they kind of called me that as a nickname. Uh, so yeah, I put it in down here. So now we have White Lion here at St. Michael's.
Lucky, I think something that was lost in Nathan Rourke's return to BC Place last year was your return to BC Place in that exact game, right? Last August, when the big
Yeah,
spiel of Nathan Rourke, you were brand new with Winnipeg again. Watching Nathan from now until present day now, where it looks like those 22 number or 2022, sorry, numbers are back to form. Are you surprised that, Nathan's kind of, finding his stride again, or how do you see that all unfolding out?
yeah, no, I'm definitely not surprised. I speak nothing but high things about Nathan Rourke, as a man and as a teammate, right? The way he came and just manhandled that game, right? Just was picking defenses apart. Just to kind of see, I guess the outsiders just kind of talk about him because he wasn't throwing up those big numbers when he first came back, right? It's an adjustment, especially with him being down south for a little bit of time. And I'm super excited just to kind of see him be able to just fling the ball around and be that athlete that we know he can be. And I'm super glad he's healthy and able to be out there, obviously doing these great games.
What about the receiving core on the Lions right now, Lucky? Because you played with guys like Hatch, overlapped with Aiden a bit, obviously Javon Katoy, but now there's new guys like Stanley Berryhill in the mix. Justin even he overlapped with a bit. What are you seeing from this Lions group right now?
It's looking real good. I mean, me and Hatch, we pretty much talk every day. We have a group chat. Me, Hatch, Rhymes, and Alex Hollins. We kind of just keep each other updated. And it's obviously it's super like we're super stoked for Hatch the way he's playing. I'm a big fan of Barry Hill. Aiden, I was just in Vancouver. I seen Aiden, and obviously I'm super glad as far as his development and just to see how much he's grown. Um, so it's been super fun to see. And obviously, man, I love the celebrations, right? That's still a thing for the boys, right? Because we brought that over to BC and like it kept going, right? You got to keep that swagger, and they definitely doing that. And like I said, I'm super excited and happy for Hatcher, just because off of his injury that he had, right? Just to come back and be resilient as he is.
Yeah, Hatch, the first in the CFL this season to eclipse 1,000 yards. Hey, speaking of Nathan, many will remember, we certainly remember, you actually caught his first ever touchdown pass, that crazy opener in Saskatchewan where he unexpectedly had to start. We all remember how crazy that was. Take us through that night, and it kind of was the start of what almost was an epic comeback. What do you remember most about first establishing that chemistry?
Yeah, I mean,
Number 12.
yeah, no, it was. I know it was super. It was a lot happening, obviously, because like you just said, he kind of just got thrown in the game, right? And he was. I mean, he was feeding me a lot that game. We just kind of got that comfortability on camp when he was in the game. I was the guy he was kind of throwing to. But it was certain. Like I think his first pass was a pick, right? And I think he threw it to like the wide field and I was running like an arrow or something and somebody jumped it. But the corner at the time, Nick Marshall, was a savvy guy, always wanted to kind of jump out routes. Right. And we knew that. And we just called it at the right time and sure enough he tried to jump the same out route and he hit me in stride and we just started hitting and then yeah, it was almost a crazy comeback. That would have been fun.
Lucky, did you see the potential in Nathan Rourke, not only there, but probably before, like in training camp, of course, the first start against Saskatchewan. Did you see this guy being a future star in the CFL?
Absolutely. His timing in practice was impeccable. Right, he rarely held onto the ball. Right, everything was on time. Uh, right, and this was him at a young age. And then as far as his work ethic, even after practice, right, just to want to be able to get some extra work. Right, you watch him get extra, like just extra reps with either himself or some of the receivers. Right, and then we also kind of just had to embrace right every week because we didn't know who was going to be our quarterback. Right, we were just like, well, shit, we gotta work with both. And yeah, he was super special very early. And it was just, I mean, it's good to see, right? You usually have a quarterback that comes in and it's like, oh, you don't know how the timing's going to be. You don't know if you're going to get the ball, right? I think when he came in, we never missed a beat, right? And then once he got in the driver's seat, I think he took over.
We're past the unofficial halfway point of the CFL season as Labor Day was yesterday. What do you make of the rest of the league right now? I know Calgary's been a big story. Hamilton's in first in the East, but what are your takeaways from the season so far?
Yeah, no, it's been fun to see because I guess it was at a point where Sass was kind of the dominant, right? Was dominating. Calgary was playing very well. The CVA balling is dope. And just it's all around. I'm very excited to kind of see how that playoff picture is going to look, right? Because people are starting to win right now that really need the wins. Some people that need to kind of hold off. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how that playoff picture looks. And like I was saying before we started, I would like to get out to see a couple playoff games. I think that would just be a better atmosphere and a more like it's for something. And I would love to just kind of see the game at a different perspective. With no obviously like no worries, no judgment for myself. Right, I'm done playing. So it's definitely been fun. Kind of especially see Edmonton going that run that they had. When they were what they won 3 in a row. I'm not sure if they won yesterday. I didn't watch that game yesterday.
Won 3 in a row, lost Labor Day, yeah. But yeah, before that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So just to see them go on their run. Toronto's trying to turn things around right now. Like, so it's been fun to kind of see I guess I would say underdogs as far as based off of their record come back and start grabbing these wins right now.
Yeah, we'll have you out, but on one circumstance, you got to do an entrance. That's the one circumstance.
Absolutely. Listen, I need somebody to talk to Cody. I'm still trying to zip line in.
There we go.
Right, y'all can't say I'm gonna get hurt before. I can't get hurt before a game because I ain't playing. Right, so this is the perfect time.
We were talking about that a little bit before off air. Is ziplining, just fill our listeners in. That was one that was actually in the works, right?
Yes, it was. It was definitely. She actually told me the game when I think we came to BC, but I was with Winnipeg at the time. Right, and it's in a like funny story. When we came in for I think it was the Grey Cup. No, we came in to play BC. So before the Grey Cup, and Coach O'Shea, he comes into the locker room while I'm in the locker room, and he was like, "So what did you do?" I was like, "I didn't do anything." All right, because if you know Mike O'Shea, he's all about business, right? Blue collar guy. And I was like, "I didn't do anything." He was like, "You noticed I stayed away from you because I was gonna let you come in on the entrance because I knew that was your thing here." I was like, "Well, I wish you would have told me last night, right? Because I would have had something set up."
Yeah, on the topic of O'Shea, of course, Buck Pierce, in his first year as head coach, you would have had some experience with him in both of your stints with the Blue Bombers. What is it about Buck that makes him a logical transition to head coach, Lucky?
Yeah, no, I mean, Buck's super smart. He's played the position, plays quarterback as far as, I mean, so he understands offenses. He understands his players, right? So he knows what works. And with a quarterback like Rourke, right? I knew that would be a great pairing. and a very successful offense. So I'm super happy for him as far as the successes that he's having, and I know he's loving it, and I'm glad he got a shot to be the head guy.
Lucky, when you talk about his offense, one of the things that really stands out for me, and it's just how he attacks defenses. He creates so much doubt on the defensive side of the ball, whether it's through motion, whether it's the areas of the football field that he's attacking. And yet at the same time, when you talk to guys on offense, it's not overly complex. It's simple, but the details and nuances make it look complex. And at the same time, what you're doing is you're creating doubt on defense all the time with what you're doing in terms of motion and attack points.
Absolutely. He has a bunch of just different motions. He has a bunch of different ways to kind of put players in a different position, but it's still the same play that we just ran the last play, right? It just looks different, right? And I guess and it's very efficient plays, right? It's nothing big, right? Somebody into the flat, but he can make sure that person gets wide open into the flat and can run for 20 yards, as Keon did in Toronto, right? Like it's super simple stuff that's in his offense, and he runs it very well. And I mean, it's like I said, it's difficult, but once you study it and learn it and know it, right, you can move at a fast pace. And you can play fast. So, and he definitely, like I said, he understands his guys as far as this is the kind of route you should be running, and this is the kind of routes you should be running, and this is what you should be good at, like things like that. And he's super smart back there. And I'm just, like I said, I'm glad to see his offense flourishing, and right, and him being the head guy, but still got that coordinator mind and still putting those plays in.
You're coaching now too, obviously, Lucky. And I think something that a lot of Canadians or even here in the NFL broadcast now, I feel is that the McVay offense or the McDaniels offense in Miami, where they're looking at CFL offenses and what they're doing and using that in the NFL game. Through your NFL contacts and all that, have you experienced, coaches telling you that, and even yourself now with looking at the CFL game?
A little bit. And now, now that I'm coaching now and going through, like, even my offensive coordinator now, right? He just kind of asked me about things, my old plays and how I ran things and how we should run routes and all this other stuff. So I'm literally out here in cleats every day, right? And I try to show these kids this is how this route should look like. I just was telling one of my kids I'm about to bring my shoulder pads and helmets because you guys need a real scout look. Right? So I'm still I'm still like in the game to where it's like this is very fun and exciting. Even the first game that I got to coach at, right? I had the headset on and I found myself slapping my headset off and right, I'm doing things that I seen and it was like, why we always like what's going on in the headset, right? But now it's super nice to do this stuff now, and just like I said, I really want to just give back and see the next generation go to the next phase of Division 1 or Division 2, wherever they go to.
I'm surprised, by the way, that you're coaching because, we're talking about what you're up to. Man, I thought you had a future as a flight attendant with WestJet. Like, I mean, a couple of those road trips coming home, you're out there, you're serving meals,
See,
like, the whole 9 yards doing the service.
Yeah, I was trying to get my interview. But I mean, it was tough. It was tough. It would have been fun though. I'll tell you that. Y'all would have had a great time with me on them flights.
You think? Hey, by the way, we've seen some posts on Instagram as well. You got like a chicken. What, you got a chicken farm going?
Yeah, I got 9 chickens, all girls. They lay. I get 8 eggs a day now. I'm working on the whole farm. I'm trying to get more animals, but I gotta build right now. Right now I gotta start small and then grow.
So like your dogs, of course. I know Blitz. I love Blitz because that was my favorite dog. Or your whole pack there. So it's like Blitz guarding the chickens. How's that working out?
Yeah, I actually posted on my story today. He was walking with them while I was walking to the shed. They all hang out. Him and my two male dogs. They're good with the chickens. My females. They're trying to figure them out still.
What's crazy though, Lucky,
Literally, what
maybe
we
not crazy because you've always been, very popular in social media, but these chicken coop videos are literally your best performing videos ever, right? Like I think you hit 1 million
yeah, no,
views.
Unreal.
they're going crazy. I've never. All right, now people are like, oh, you got to make it a series, and you got to keep posting your chickens, and I'm actually getting free chicken stuff. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Never would have thought. Cause I'll tell you what, probably like 2, 3 months ago, I wouldn't even touch one of my chickens. I was so scared.
Hmm.
So all those years in football, and you become basically a chicken influencer.
Yeah, I call myself the chicken daddy.
On that note, Lucky, we'll bring it back to football a bit. So I was always responsible for filming your entrance videos. A lot of those went viral too. I even like the ones where you'd come out with Terry Williams with the whatever song you had playing. Those always did well. But with your entrances, name me maybe your top 2 or 3 favorite entrances that you've ever done going into games.
Top 2 or 3. The horse
Yep.
Oh yeah.
coming in on a horse. Coming in on that Harley. I had them big speakers on that Harley.
The ice cream truck. I like the ice cream truck.
Come on, man.
I like
You got to throw
the
the
first one there.
Ferrari in there.
That
The
was
Ferrari.
probably
yeah.
like one of my first ones. Oh no, the Ferrari was, I mean, obviously clean coming in on the with the 50 Cent playing with
Oh,
my
yeah.
boy Rhymes.
I think the favorite part about
We
the
just got
Harley
it. Now
one-
we just got to execute. Once we execute that zip line, that's taking over.
on,
That's
yeah.
next level.
My favorite part about the Harley one, I was against the Ottawa REDBLACKS. You score the game-winning touchdown, very, very fitting. But the Ottawa
Yeah,
REDBLACKS
like
are literally in the background waiting for you. It was hilarious.
Yeah. That was good.
as I'm sitting here singing Raw Wave, they're like, okay, can you watch out? Can you can you move the bike?
Yeah, speaking of WestJet, missing the Rod Wave. We got to get the Rod Wave back into the rotation. But
I see. I talked to GP a few times, and he'd be like, "Man, I be trying to get it going, but you're not the same kind of guy. Not the vibes. The vibes not high enough."
there you go. Hey, listen, this has been great catching up with you. We wish you continued success and good luck with your football coaching and all that. And we'll hope to see you down the road, perhaps in the playoffs.
Absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate you all.
Lucky Whitehead joining us from Virginia. First and Now, presented in part by Hullo Ferries, proud island transportation partner of the BC Lions. Go easy, go Hullo. Back with more in a moment. Back on First and Now, it's brought to you in part by Main Road Group, your roads, your team, connecting communities and driving our legacy. Matt Baker, Bob Marjanovic, Nicholas Kowalski. Good
Nicholas
stuff.
What Kowalski? If you're going to use the full first name, you got to go with the middle name.
Nicholas Mark Kowalski.
Mark?
That's classy.
Nathan
Right.
Larry Rourke.
I thought it'd be something like Stanislav.
Yeah, those European Polish roots, right?
Like
Yeah.
Nicholas Stanislav.
No
Kowalski.
reaction to me dropping Nathan's middle name.
No. I was more
Yeah.
interested in Stanislav.
Larry's
That-
an awesome middle name for him.
Yeah,
I will say.
Larry's his dad. Yep,
Hmm.
so that makes sense.
Awesome.
You don't. Moj doesn't have a middle name. is
Don't
that
have
correct?
a middle name, no.
Interesting.
No.
Okay. Matthew John Elia Baker.
Okay.
Elia, my
Named
mother's
after the Cubs manager, Lee.
Lee Elia. So yeah, I haven't charted the family tree. It might be it is my mother's maiden name. You might imagine.
Hey,
trying to
my mother's maiden name? You want to talk about charting the family tree? Hallis. I want
Oh,
to do some DNA testing. I might own like 5% of the Bears. or
Papa
something.
George Hallis, or yeah.
So there you go.
There you go. Excellent. The audience is knowing more about us each and every week.
Yeah,
That's
your
the
fun
goal.
fact of the
Mhm.
week. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lions, REDBLACKS, Able Auctions pregame 3:30 on Friday. First Friday night game of the year for these Lions.
Is it?
Little quirk in the
Wow.
schedule, and now like the next 4 or 5 of them are all Fridays.
Yeah, there's
So-
no more Thursdays. So
correct or
Okay.
Sundays. Yeah. Well, hopefully one Sunday.
Oh yeah,
way down
that
the road,
other league
but-
starts up. Yeah.
Yeah. National Football League this week. Baseball pennant race is heating up. One of those fun times a year
Hey,
for
youth
sports.
too. Shout out UBC.
Yeah.
Thunderbirds big win. myself, Liam Thompson, and Parker Hall live in attendance. It was a great crowd there. We actually ran into JC Abbott.
Farhan was there. I saw you and Farhan in the VIP section. Saw all those photos.
I was
You
just
you gotta be with Farhan to get into the
No,
good
you gotta be
section.
with
Like,
Parker Hall. Parker Hall knows everybody. Our community manager. He
That's
knows
true.
everybody in this province. So
that's true. So
Yeah.
were you a little torn watching that game? T-Birds by
you can ask Parker. I may have fully been cheering for the Bisons in that game.
Hey, you got to stick to your roots, right?
When I was at UBC,
Yeah.
we never lost to Manitoba.
Ever?
UBC does well against Manitoba.
I was there, 3 years as a player, 4 years as a coach. We never lost to Manitoba. So that's what, 14 games, I guess? Never lost.
Yeah.
You see
Never
the-
lost to Alberta either.
You see the crazy Regina Calgary game too on the weekend where it was the Dinos were down
Yes.
by 9, got a touchdown, a 2-point convert, and then kicked off for a Rouge. So a 9-point play on one possession, only in the CFL.
Only in the CFL, yes. UBC, by the way, homecoming game September 12th against against the Regina Rams.
I think we
6
lost
o'clock.
once to Manitoba. I stand corrected.
Once in
maybe
what,
once.
4 or 5 years?
Well, 7 years coaching and playing. So that's like
Okay.
14 games. I think they beat us once.
Never forget watching the 97 Vanier Cup on TSN at the time.
I was on the
UBC.
sidelines.
Were you coaching that year?
No,
or were you-
went there. A few of us alums went out there and spent a couple of days in Quebec City, which was a lot of fun. I've been to Quebec City 4 times. Twice for Red Bull
crashed
practice,
ice, yeah.
twice for UBC football, played Laval, and then we played Montreal at the Vanier. I've not slept the last night in Quebec City 4 times.
That's right. Yeah. Early flight in the morning.
6:30 flight, whatever, 6 o'clock, 6:30 connection to Montreal, whatever. It's always been a late night. Just, hey, you know what? Why go to bed at 2:30 when you got to wake up at 5:30?
Sleep on the
Pound it
plane.
all-
Sleep on the
Exactly.
plane. Yeah.
all the way through.
There you go. Oh, yes. Good times. Well, we've got a couple of minutes here. We got trivia at the end of the program tonight, first and now. But a couple minutes here, Lions and Red Blacks. We've talked about some possible lineup changes. We've talked about keys to turning it around on defense. But when you look at this Ottawa team specifically, kind of similar. They have to start stacking some wins. They've been close in a couple of their losses. What's the number one key here to taking care of Ottawa here, Moj?
Just go out there, do your job, execute. I think the Lions have a better talent than the Red Blacks. As long as they don't make those critical mistakes. And, we talk about critical mistakes. If you've watched any of Ottawa's games this year, I think they lead the league in critical mistakes at the wrong time. So
Yeah.
just go out there, execute. And if the Lions don't shoot themselves in the foot, they don't beat themselves, I think they'll come out of it with a victory.
Looks like Dustin Crum taking a lot of the first team reps at quarterback as Drew Brown still trying to work his way back from injury. What do you see with Dustin Crum, Nick? That's a guy who's won a couple of games in this league. A big comeback against the Bombers comes to mind a couple of years ago. But hey, we've seen it. Doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. Still have to do the job.
Yeah, the infamous Crumback that Dustin Crum has, but he's obviously a run-first quarterback, and that's probably why when he comes into those comeback situations, he's more effective, right? Can take off in late-game scenarios. And that could be the case here too, because I'm looking at the big play difference in this matchup. The Lions are the first in big plays this season with 34. Ottawa ranks last with 19. Ottawa only has 8 30-plus yard completions this year. That's not in Dustin Crum's alley either, right? That's more of a Drew Brown thing. He's obviously still limited with his knee injury. So if explosives happen in this game against the Lions, they're in trouble, because a team like Toronto, they have 23 30-plus yard passes. Ottawa only has 8. So if you can limit the big plays will be there too, and go from there.
Hey, Lions still, speaking of big plays, they still have a goose egg in big plays when it comes to a return on either defense, punt return, or kick return. They're the only team in the league not to have a touchdown on either a punt return, kick return, or a defensive touchdown.
Seven McGee's come alive though, already in 60
but
plus.
again, hey,
Toronto.
you know what? They still got to take one to the house. They got to still make that big play that changes the momentum of the game. We haven't seen that yet. Hopefully we'll see it
Is
sooner.
it, was it Haladic this year that almost took an interception
Yep,
back?
got tackled within the 5.
Yep.
Plus yarder. Well, a couple other nuggets I found doing my research this week too. BC and Ottawa are the top 2 teams when it comes to red zone opportunities. The Lions have quietly kind of snuck up the red zone category lately, producing quite well. Think of Javon Katoy with those last trio of touchdowns in the last couple of weeks. And the Ottawa Redblacks have the number 1 rush defense when it comes to yards against per carry. So be a good test for James Butler and company.
Yeah, James Butler, the CFL's leading rusher. At least he was heading into the Labor Day weekend. So, yeah, time of possession, stretch the field, ball security. That's been the hallmarks of what has made this Buck Pierce offense successful. And Nathan Rourke, 6 of 7 games this year, 6 of 7 starts. He's gone 300 or more, so probably has to do that yet again. All right, we're going to wrap things up with trivia. I'm excited for this. Always excited for a little Kowalski trivia. To wrap it all up on First and Now, a presentation of World Vision Canada. Back to wrap things up on First and Now. As always, just get the show to trivia. And we've made it. Kowalski's world-famous trivia. Whenever the cue cards come out like this, you know it's something big. What do we got, Nick?
Yeah, we mean business. So for those listeners right now, we have 23 cue cards in front of us because by my count, since 1954, so the Lions' origination, 23 quarterbacks have rushed for 500 yards in a single season in the CFL. And the inspiration for this, you got Dustin Crum and Nathan Rourke, the potential QB matchup. Rourke's top 10 in rushing right now. Not run first quarterbacks, but quarterbacks that aren't afraid to run. So can you guys name me the 23 quarterbacks who have rushed for 500 yards in a season? And if they've done it more than one time, they're just listed once.
Damon Allen.
Okay.
Damon Allen is obviously a good
Gotta
guess.
be.
Doug Flutie.
So we'll go one at a time.
No.
One at a time. So
What year?
Damon Allen.
Damon Allen would be probably...
He's 1991. The ironic part is I actually have 22 cue cards, and Damon Allen is the one that I was missing. But Damon Allen is correct because he rushed for 1,036 yards in 1991.
2011 Saskatchewan. Was that Darian Durant?
2011 Saskatchewan is Darian Durant. He rushed for 618 yards.
Go with Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie did it in 1994. Calgary over here.
1996 Calgary. Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia is 1996 Calgary. Good guess.
Go. Saskatchewan 97. I'm going to guess Reggie Slack.
That is correct.
How about
Yep.
Kerry Joseph?
That's a good pull, Moj. Kerry Joseph is 2007 Saskatchewan. Rushed for 737 yards.
Matt Dunnigan has got to be in the mix.
Matt Dunnigan is in the mix with Edmonton in
Probably down here somewhere.
1985. 1985 was his highest.
Tracy Ham.
Tracy Ham has the most rushing yards ever by a quarterback in
That's
this
right.
season with Edmonton in 1990.
1990. There you go.
96 rushing yards.
That's
for a
insane.
quarterback.
Toronto 1990. Oh, come back.
So you have Ottawa 2023, Edmonton 2023.
Edmonton, Jackie Parker.
Edmonton, Jackie
That a
Parker,
boy.
1957. That's the oldest.
Ottawa, would you go with
There's a
Russ
1964.
Jackson?
Russ Jackson.
That is
yeah.
Russ Jackson, 1964. He did it.
Toronto, 1990. Conrich Holloway? No.
Ricky Foggy.
Ricky
no.
Foggy or
Ricky
Conrich
Foggy
Holloway?
is a correct
Is it?
answer for
Yeah.
1990 Toronto.
There we go.
So yeah, there's some recent ones here too.
Edmonton.
1983, J.C. Watts.
JC Watts is the correct answer for 1985 Ottawa.
Oh, wow.
Right here.
Was it?
Edmonton 2013, Michael O'Reilly.
Correct. Michael Riley was sneaky, like a 500-yard rusher.
Winnipeg, 2009,
Winnipeg is 2019.
19.
Matt Nichols.
Nope. Who played for Matt Nichols in 2019 a lot?
Chris Streveler.
Chris Streveler. Yeah, he rushed for over 700 yards that year. Got a lot of starting action that year.
Hamilton, what year Hamilton?
You got a Hamilton 1973.
Chuck Ely.
Chuck Ely is, let
Gotta
me look at my
be
list here. That's
close.
correct. Yeah, 686.
Edmonton, what? 19.
Edmonton 1983, Edmonton 2022, and Edmonton 2023.
2022, Taylor Cornelius.
Wow, what a yes. that is
83.
correct.
Moon was gone by 83, but I'll guess Moon anyway.
Was he gone by 83?
He was not gone by
Yeah.
83. That is Warren Moon.
There you
Okay,
go.
Good.
Correct.
Sask in 19. Cody
2019.
Cody Fajardo.
Cody Fajardo was correct. Cody
Which
Fajardo.
Hamilton there, 1985?
Yep.
1985 Hamilton.
Then you have Sask 2003, Calgary 2007,
2003 Sask, Henry Burris.
2007 Hask is Henry Burris. Or sorry, Calgary.
So what do we got?
Oh,
left?
so 2003.
2003 Sask,
Darian
2023.
Durant, you got that already. You got Kerry Joseph and Sask. You got Reggie Slack.
2023 Ottawa, Dustin Crum.
Dustin Crum,
Right.
correct. One of the higher rushing totals too, actually, over 741 yards.
Edmonton 2023, Nick Arbuckle.
No, come on, guys.
What's
This one's an obvious one, in my opinion.
Trey Ford.
Trey
Yeah.
Ford, yeah.
what's the last Ottawa one down there? What year?
1991.
91. Oh, Tom Burgess.
David
That-
Archer.
so
No, Archer was the
1991
scrambling guy.
Ottawa.
Initials.
Oh, my bad. That's Damon Allen. That's
Yeah,
why.
thank you.
That's why I was all tripped up. My
So
bad.
we
I was-
finished this.
No, you have a Sask
Oh,
2003.
since 2003. Not Henry Burris.
This was before. Yeah, it wouldn't be Henry Burns.
Wouldn't be Ken Austin.
I'm gonna get some more details about this guy right now. I'm looking him up. But yeah, 2003 Sask.
Initials.
I'll give you. This guy played for Toronto, Edmonton, Sask, and Montreal.
Yeah, this is gonna kill me.
Played from 1998 to 2006. 14,000 passing yards.
Yeah, it's on the tip of my
Initials.
NG.
NG.
NG. Nealon Green.
Nealon Green. There you go.
We might have been.
Yeah,
might
we
have
would have
yeah.
had, you had me on that one.
Yeah. Not bad though.
They
Yeah.
cleared the board pretty good. But Tracy Ham and Damon Allen are the only two quarterbacks to ever rush for 1,000 yards. Actually, what am I doing here? We're missing one here. Hamilton, 1985.
1985 Hamilton. Ooh.
This is another, I'd say bigger name quarterback.
Tom Clements.
Nope.
Dieter Brock.
KH.
KH. Ken Hobart.
Ken Hobart.
Yeah.
Oh,
There
nicely
you go.
done, babe.
Yep.
1985
Yeah.
Hamilton. So
There
there
we
we go. A lot of mobile
Nice
quarterbacks.
job. Yeah.
By the way, Chuck Ely, if you ever watch his documentary on Chuck Ely, Larry Heisel, Al Oliver. Larry Heisel, great major league player. Al Oliver, great major league player. They all came from the same town in Ohio. Great story.
There was one that TSN did on Chuck too, the stone thrower.
Yeah,
That was
I think that was
that
it.
the same
Yeah,
one?
it was the
Okay,
same
yeah.
one. Yeah.
That's the unofficial
Neat
list. though.
backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is manually tracked. I think Nathan Rourke is on pace to become the 23rd to do this. It's actually 22. I just associated Damon Allen with BC, so that's my fault. But you rattled off Damon Allen off the top.
Yeah. There you go. Excellent. All right. That was a good one. That was a fun one. Some good names past and present. And Russ Jackson, of course, talking about the great Canadian quarterbacks and yeah, some cool history. All right. Excellent job, Mr. Nick Kowalski. And you yourself and Julio, Able Auctions pregame show, 3:30 on Friday. Lions and Red Blacks kickoff at 4:30. A chance for this Lions team to get back to the 500 mark. Big September coming up, 2 with Ottawa. Then it's a visit to Calgary. Then it's a home game against Toronto. And boy, oh boy, still plenty of football ahead of us here. Lots to determine. First and now, a presentation of World Vision Canada. And we will be back next Tuesday to recap the rematch at home with Ottawa. Thanks for listening, folks. All right, and a special bonus for those listening on the podcast. It's our good friend Cam Tucker from BCLC, PlayNow.com. Cam, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, fellas. You know what? It's now we're through Labor Day, and now we're going to get serious here. This is the time of year, obviously, when it ramps up in the CFL. It's quite exciting, and we'll see here if the Lions can start to make that push and lock down a playoff spot here over the stretch and go into playoffs with some good vibes. So it's exciting time right now.
Yeah, and you won't catch me saying that tired cliche of the real season doesn't start till after Labor Day, but I will admit that given where this Lions team is now, you can feel the intensity cranking up week by week. Despite a bad setback in Toronto before the bye, though, Cam, Lions opening up as a 4-point favorite on the road in Ottawa Friday.
Yeah, so we're going to kick off the week, obviously, with the Lions. And like you said, Matt, they've opened as 4-point favorites. This is a line I think we're going to see move. My anticipation is we're going to see it move a little bit towards the Ottawa REDBLACKS as we get closer to kickoff on Friday. Of course, I've been known to be wrong before, but that would be my assumption, is that we're going to see that line trickle a little bit closer to Ottawa. But the Lions did open as 4-point favorites. And going into this matchup, they've had Ottawa's number over the last few years. I think the Lions are 9-1 straight up against Ottawa. They're also 8-2 against the spread against the REDBLACKS. So they've definitely had Ottawa's number going forward. But this is a big game for the Lions. It's so difficult to go into a bye week on a loss, on any loss, and I don't think anybody felt good about what happened in Toronto going into the bye week. So I think that for the Lions, you said it, Matt. There's urgency, there's intensity here to ramp it up. There's a lot of good right now, and with this team, and you do want to focus on that offensively. I mean, they're moving the ball really, really well. They're putting up a lot of points. And so there's definitely factors in this football team that you can look at and say, okay, you know what, we need to clamp down here, but this is doing really good. And if we can put a full effort together for an entire game, I think that the Lions certainly have the offense that's going to put them over the top in a lot of situations. So this is a big game. Ottawa, is 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. They're coming off a loss, obviously, a couple of weeks ago against the Edmonton Elks. And, now we're going to see if Drew Brown does, in fact, return to the starting quarterback position. I think the news out of Ottawa is that he hasn't necessarily been ruled out for this week, but we'll see what happens, and I do think that as we get closer to game time, and if we get more clarity on the quarterback situation in Ottawa, that might impact this line as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. And for those who are not looking at the money line, not looking at the point spread, they're looking at the total points. 55 right now is the total points for this game. It is the highest total right now of the week by quite a fair margin, 3 points to be exact. So the odds makers are thinking that this is going to be a very high scoring game in Ottawa. And, we've definitely seen the Lions put up a lot of points over the last several weeks. Their last 6 games, they're averaging about 33.8 points scored per game. So, and the over is 5-0 in the Lions' last 5 games. So, it's definitely some interesting lines out there for people to bet on this week.
And Cam, now that we are past that, key Labor Day benchmark of the CFL season, let's take some look at, or let's revisit some of the Grey Cup futures. So who are the contenders right now when it comes to the futures odds for the Grey Cup, and where do the Lions stack up too?
Yeah, so right now, we talked about this a few weeks ago. The biggest surprise, I think, of the season is got to be the Calgary Stampeders. They were long shots to win the Grey Cup when the season began. On June 6th, guys, I was looking at this. I was just parsing through the data before, joining the show. They were plus 2,500 to win the Grey Cup back on June 6th. Like that's incredible. It's a huge run. They're now plus 225 on PlayNow. So they're the favorites. And I think a lot of people will look at, Vernon Adams, and Vernon Adams having a very good season. I think that if you're the Calgary Stampeders, you're getting exactly what you wanted from your quarterback. But I look at defensively, this team right now is they're holding some very good football teams to some really low point totals. So look at Saskatchewan. They've beaten Saskatchewan twice this year. And in those 2 games, Saskatchewan has scored a total of 25 points. Like that to me is quite amazing. It's maybe something that flies under the radar a little bit. And certainly what we're seeing is the Calgary Stampeders are flying under the radar when it comes to the bets. The most bet on team in terms of actual tickets to win the Grey Cup, and it's no surprise, is the BC Lions right now. And the Lions' current Grey Cup odds are plus 1,100 at PlayNow. And then you look at the team with the most money wagered on them to win the Grey Cup, and that's the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The Bombers, this is rare territory for them. They're not the favorites. They're not really closing in on the Calgary Stampeders for that favorite status. They're at plus 1,000 to win the Grey Cup, so they're actually sliding back a little bit. But here's the thing. I'm not ready to count out the Blue Bombers just yet. So it is really interesting to see how this season has gone, so far, how it's kind of shaken out. Calgary, start of the season, nobody was giving them a chance. Here they are as the favorites. The BC Lions are kind of hanging around. I think they have the 5th best odds, and certainly the most bets on them to win the Grey Cup. And I think that we'll see, can they put it all together in all 3 phases of the game? Because I think that if they do that, you go into a one game scenario in the playoffs. It's difficult to win 3 games in a row in the playoffs, but at least you have the offense that can certainly put up those big numbers. And I think that gives them a dynamic quality over the opposition.
And lastly, Cam, shifting back to the Lions and Red Blacks this Friday night, the bet boost. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so I think we're going back to the fundamentals here. We're going to keep this nice and simple. I think, this is something that we're still cooking up for. This is something obviously we're still cooking up for Friday, but I think that we're going to look at something in the neighborhood of Nathan Rourke, 275 plus or 300 plus passing yards and the Lions to win. I mean, right now Nathan Rourke is just absolutely lighting this league up when it comes to the passing game, and I think that given his volume here, where he's hit over 300 yards, quite frequently this season, I think that that's a solid bet. And for the Lions, I mean, this is a game that they're currently 4-point favorites in. My estimation is that they're going to be favorites when kickoff happens on Friday. So they need a big win here. They need to kind of get it going in the latter half of the season. So my selections, are going to revolve around Nathan Rourke passing yards and the Lions to get a big win here on the road.
All right, we shall see. It should be a good one. Always love going into Ottawa Friday night in the nation's capital. We'll see you next Friday for the rematch, my friend, but we'll talk to you before that on next Tuesday on Between the Lines.
Yeah, I'll be in stadium, gonna get a haircut, maybe a shave, and we'll look all gussied up for a big game.
We'll hold you to it.
Too early for the playoff beard, but we like that. All right, sir, and that is a wrap on First and Now. We will be back, as mentioned, next Tuesday.